It is really and indeed an honor and a pleasure to be able to stand before you today. I'm so proud of what you are and who you've become in the 492nd. I think it's very important that people understand who you are and what you do. See, people look at us as professional football players, and I get this very frequently. They come up and say, "You're my hero. Oh, you were my dad's hero. I remember growing up how much I loved what you did." But truthfully, we are not heroes. Those of us that play on television in the world of professional athletics, God gave us a gift. He gave me the ability to throw. He gave others the ability to run, some to catch, some to hit a ball. It's a gift from the good Lord upstairs. What you do to protect this country, to make sure that we have the freedom to be able to do the things that we do, you, in my mind, are true heroes. To the police officers, to the men and women in uniform that give us a chance to be able to do these things. You're the hero head on a pillow. Understand one thing. You're doing something very, very special. Other people don't necessarily always recognize it, and a lot of people don't really appreciate it. But there's one guy that appreciates you so much for what you do. And so that, I say thank you so much for your commitment to the service, to this country, and to us as citizens of the United States. You're special. I wear this flag very proudly because it is the greatest place in the world to be, and it's only that way because of people like you. So I thank you so very much. The other thing is Colonel Jim was talking about the fact that, changes occur in our lives. I've really had two significant changes that have shaped who I am. I'm introduced as Joe Theismann. I appreciate that very much. Actually, I'm not Joe Theismann. How many of you are from New Jersey? Any New Jersey people? Good. Glad to see there's one. I'm on a roll right now. Between the three of us, we can take the entire room on. It's very easily that way. Well, I grew up in New Jersey. I went to the University of Notre Dame. And when I got to the University of Notre Dame, my junior year, I got a chance to play some football, and I became a starter and had a pretty good year. Beginning of my senior year, our sports information director calls me in the office. He says, "Joe, how do you pronounce your last name?" I said, "No, it's not. It's actually Theismann." He says, "No, Joe, your last name is pronounced Theismann." I said, "Give me the phone." Picked up the phone, called my dad back home in New Jersey. I'm a Jersey kid. My dad's a Jersey guy. Anytime I ever had a question from my father, I always say, "Fire away, son." So I dialed my dad up on the phone. I said, "Pop, got this question for you." He says, "Fire away, Joe." I said, "Dad, tell me, how do you pronounce our last name?" Dead silence on the phone. About 30 seconds goes by. My dad comes on. He says, "Son, you really do have a problem, don't you? You're a senior in college. You don't know who you are. What have you been doing for the last 3 years?" I said, Dad said, "Please just tell me, how do you pronounce our last name? I'll explain it later." He said, "It's Theismann." I said, "Okay, fine." Hung the phone up, turned to Mr. Valdesari, our PR guy. I said, "Raj, look, my last name is Theismann. I know. I just got a phone with my dad." He said, "Joe, I want to tell you something. There's a trophy out there called the Heisman Trophy. It goes to the best college football player in the country. We think you have a chance to win that trophy, but we're not just going to count on your athletic ability. Heck no. We're not even going to count on the reputation of the University of Notre Dame, but we think by just simply changing the pronunciation of your last name from Theismann to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman, we guarantee you that trophy." That's how I wound up becoming Joe Theismann. That was 50 years ago. It's interesting, 50 years ago. Change is something you have to embrace. You look at the change in the military. You look at the change in the weaponry. You look at the aircraft that you fly. I mean, I'm standing at Kelly, and I love watching you all go by. I just get the biggest kick out of watching those planes go over. It's absolutely, to me, one of the most incredible things. I look up and I just say thank you. Thank you for what you do. And it's interesting, as the Colonel and I were talking, you have 11 squadrons. I think of the world of athletics, to me, has been such a great foundation. I base so much off of it. And to me, in my life, I was 152 pounds when I entered the University of Notre Dame. I was one of 13 quarterbacks. I was a skinny little kid. And as a matter of fact, when I got off the plane in South Bend, Indiana, two coaches stood there. One recruited me, the other was there. I come walking off the plane, and the one coach turned to the other coach, and he said, "Where's this hotshot little quarterback that you said was coming here?" And he pointed to me, and he said, "Are you kidding me?" He said, "That kid's not big enough to carry a water bucket." And that was the perception that people have. And I say to you, as individuals, don't ever let anybody tell you want to be. You set the limits on your success. You set the limits on what you're capable and able to do. Don't let anybody try and put you in a box and label you in a certain way. I went to my room early in my freshman year. I wrote down on a piece of paper, "I will be the greatest quarterback that ever plays at the University of Notre Dame." Whether I was or was not is insignificant to the fact that that's what I believed. tell you this, money comes to make money, money's going to go in your life, it's going to come and go. But the one thing that never goes away is the experience that you will have together here. Some of you have been here a longer period of time than others. Some of you will come here and move on. But the experiences that you have together, the way you will grow together, will always stay with you. Those friendships, those bonds you create, the experiences you have, the experiences that you'll share, they always stay with you. See, I think, I was your quarterback for 6 years. You know what? Art Monk was a great receiver, Hall of Famer. You know, Russ Grimm, a guard, Hall of Famer. Darryl Green, Hall of Famer. What about us? And for 6 months I walked around and went, I just can't believe that my name wasn't mentioned. And then it hit me. I had one of those moments where it's like, holy mackerel, I'm a jerk. How could I find myself so caught up in a me world that I thought that I was the most important thing? What I was saying is, yeah, we have people that play 65 plays a game. But every person, every member, every squadron on that football team is responsible for him being in the Hall of Fame. Reggie played 6-8 plays. Otis played 6-8 plays. But it didn't matter. And that's the thing that every one of you here has to understand, the significance of who you are and what you do. Each team, each squadron is vitally important to the success of the entire unit. And that's so important to really get your arms around. And, you know, the Colonel so kind to introduce me with all these accolades. And see, back in 1985, on November 18th, maybe some of you shared it with me. It was a night when the Washington Redskins played the New York Giants on Monday Night TV. It was a night that changed my life. Because in the world of professional football, I'd achieved everything you could possibly achieve. MVP, Man of the Year, World Champion quarterback, and you'll love this. In 1984, I was the 4th highest paid player in the National Football League at $1 million a year. To put it in perspective, Russell Wilson, the quarterback, of $1 million a year. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, $33 million a year. Matt Ryan, quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons, 1-7. $30 million a year. I don't begrudge those guys a penny. I think it's great that you're able to get out and get what you want. I think it's exciting. But for me, what had happened is I'm Joe Theismann, quarterback, signed a brand new 5-year contract, 4th highest paid player in the league. I didn't need anybody. I was a football star. I was a quarterback. Didn't need anyone. Till November 18th, 1985. And I'll never forget walking in my locker, sitting down in my locker. We were in the midst of a lousy season. And I was going to do the same thing that I guarantee you everyone in this room has done from time to time. I was going to have a heart-to-heart with myself. Where am I? What am I going to do? What's going to happen with my life? What about my family? Where are we going to go? You think about all these things. And I sat there and I stared at that wall and I said, all right, Joe, it's the Giants. It's Monday Night TV. This is going to be your opportunity. And by the way, opportunity is my favorite word. This is going to be your opportunity to be able to go out and show the world that Joe Theismann that you love so much is back. I got up from my locker. I started at that locker room. And as we leave this auditorium here, you'll see these exit signs. Picture below them the Redskin logo. Not some cute, shiny little star that some people wear on their helmets. I feel obliged to ask this question now. How many of you are Cowboy fans? Okay, I really don't care. It's a courtesy question. I want you to know that. We used to have that Redskin logo right below that exit sign. For 12 years as the quarterback of the Redskins, I used to run out of that locker room, hit that logo, and never said a word. I'm a superstitious person. In my locker, I started at that locker room. I hit that logo and I said these words, tonight your life's going to change, Joe. My mom sort of left things, little nuggets with me. And she'd say, Joey, when it comes to congratulating yourself, son, she'd say, you're never going to have room for anybody in your life until you're happy with who you are as a person. Be at peace with yourself. Be happy with who you are. It doesn't matter that someone else may think or want you to be something else. It's those little things that we can do. We can congratulate. I get all Joe Theismann, superstar, Joe Theismann, football player. You know, turn on a TV, turn on a radio, pick up a newspaper, all those headlines. But we have funny ways people bring us down to earth. I'm speaking at an engagement 10 years ago. 3,000 people in the audience. I'm in my tuxedo, they're in theirs, guest speaker. I'm seated at the dais. They bring out my entree, baked potato, 6 rolls, give me 1 pat of butter. Decent at management, not that good. Take the butter, throw it on the potato. Turn the kid behind me, says, excuse me, sound like another pat of butter. He said, no. I said, whoa, time out. I am Joe Theismann. So all these people, football players, thank you very much. He said, you were MVP of the National Football League. I said, thank you very much. He said, you won a Super Bowl. I said, thank you very much. He said, sir, do you know who I am? I said, no, I don't. He said, I'm the kid in charge of the butter. Get one pat of butter. We have those ways in our lives that we get humbled for the things that we do. And you know, there isn't anybody in here, and I believe this. You can't do what you do without having a degree of confidence. By golly, if you don't believe in who you are, who's going to believe in you? You know, and Sheriff, thank you so much for what you do. I mean, it's just the dedication of the men and women of this great country of ours. Whenever I'm in an airport, I see anybody in uniform, first thing I want to do is say thank you. And it's amazing to me that people come up and say, I really appreciate that. Don't hear it much. I think you got to be kidding me. How can anyone walk by somebody in uniform and not bless you, not say thank you? It's those little things. And like I say, confidence is so vitally important. For me, when I got hurt, I got introspective. People say, oh, Theismann, you're cocky and egotistical. No, I just believed in my ability. Like I said, if you don't believe in who you are, who's going to believe in you? So I broke it down into specific areas. First, I try to anticipate situations. You go through it in your training, in your preparation. I used to get up under a center. I could see a safety shaded to the right a little bit. I could anticipate the role of the defense, drop back, plant my foot, fire the ball to the left, 1-1 coverage, anticipating the role of the defense. I try to educate myself. Every day I want to be an excited student. I think you need to know more today than you knew yesterday, and you need to know more tomorrow than you know today. Be an excited student. And then, Tom Watson, the founder of IBM, once said this: you work the first 8 hours of the day for survival. Everything after that is an investment in your future. That would be a guess, I guess you could say. So you anticipate, educate, work hard. It gives you confidence. Once you get confidence, it gives you the chance to go out and step outside the box, what Kat was talking about. An opportunity to think outside the box. Al Saunders was a coach I had in Washington with me, head coach of the San Diego Chargers at one point. He was an offensive coordinator. I asked Al one day, I said, what do you look for in a championship player? Please note, just as I stand in front of you as champions in your own right, I'm not interested in average. Average doesn't appeal to me. Mediocrity does not appeal to me. What do you look for in a championship individual? He said, I want to know if they're members of the Abel family. He said, Abel family? He said, are they available? Are they reliable? And are they accountable? Available. Got to show up. You know, we needed to be at meetings on time. If it did, it cost me money. And to me, there's no greater insult by any individual to a group by showing up late. No excuse for it, none whatsoever, unless you're stuck in traffic. I got you covered, don't worry about it. Reliable. I give you a job. If it doesn't go right, be accountable for what happened. It's on me and I'll fix it. Available, reliable, and accountable. Those are things that we look for in championship individuals. Ask the same right off the top of your head. I asked Tom this one day, I said, why are you so great? Where's your greatness come from? He said, the right place, the right time, and the right people. And that's where I believe I am today here with you all. The right time, the right place, with a great bunch of people. Thank you so much, Colonel. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. I appreciate it.